Thanks for joining the Mobile Car Doctor. We're out here in the country looking at a 07 Ford Edge, and we're going to do an alternator. I know it's a nightmare, so you're going to have to bear with me. So the first thing I'm going to do is come and take this hose off. Right there, top radiator hose. Reach right in here with some clamps, undo that, pull it back. Have a drain pan right there ready, and have your jack handy, because I'm going to show you a way to get to it within 20 minutes.
They weren't doing that, and now they're doing it.
So go ahead and use some vice grips, reach down under this wire right to the clamp and just pull the clamp back. I don't know, yeah, you can see it right down there. So now we're going to try to twist this with our hand, break the bead, which is breaking the seal in there, and then we're going to pull it back, then drain it straight down that drain pan. Really not going to be that much in there because it's your upper hose you're draining. The radiator will still stay full. So this will help you out so you don't have to keep filling the whole damn thing. And I cleaned this before I put that in there. Look at the stuff coming out. So keep a close eye on this, because it looks to me like there's a lot of dirt in the radiator. You see that? Metal flakes. I don't know where that's coming from. We'll figure that out. Yeah. Now, before I take the bottle off, we're going to take that little 8mm bolt off right there first. This can stay. That's the awesome part about this. That can stay right there. Don't let it bother you. Take this, move it straight through here, and set it right over there. Okay, now you just come over here and take this one off, take that one off. You see I took it off already. So there's going to be 3 bolts on this container. And of course, you got to know that Ford always makes you a little parts tray. So you don't want to lose your stuff. Set it on the parts tray. Okay, now you just take this little clamp off, because of course the box won't come through here. Take that off, and then when you bring the box around this side, put the clamp back on temporarily, and that way you can get everything over here. Okay, so I moved the box out of the way. Look at all the room we're accumulating. It's going to be so easy. Now you're going, oh my God, you can't get that thing out of there. But yeah, you can. Come over here where the motor mount is. Take that bolt off, and that one right there. Get a block of wood on your jack, slide it under the oil pan, slowly lift it up, and I'll show you what happens. Okay, I'm using 1/2-inch extensions. I've got a 6-inch and a 12-inch. You're going to need something long to get down there. There's no twisting room down here, and these are on really tight. So I'm using brushless cobalt here. Seems to work pretty good. So you might need some kind of an impact drill, or you'll be doing that by hand. It takes a while, but anyway, once you take this off, the whole idea is the engine's going to lift up, the alternator will be facing you, and it'll come off like a charm. So that's what we're doing. We've got enough clearance up here. There's some insulation back here. It looks like you don't, but look at this. Plenty of room. So there's at least 4 inches back here, and when you lift it, the front of the motor comes up, the back will fall back. So I checked it out. There's actually engine mount in the back, so everything will go away from the fan when we lift. So here's another safety. If the engine drops on you, it'll stop right here because you got all this secured. Sweet, huh? Okay, so I've got those bolts out. I've got the jack ready. Make sure you put a 4x4 under there, especially if you're sitting up on ramps. You're going to need to reach. If you put a 4x4 piece of wood about the size of the oil pan there, so you're covering the distance from one side of the oil pan to the other. You don't want any pressure on one single point. Now I'm just going to jack it up. Okay, you're going to make that two 4x4s. You need 2 4x4s because there's just not enough room if you're up on the ramps. If you're not using ramps, you could probably get away with a 4x4. Okay, went ahead and lifted it. As you can see, I just went up a couple of inches. We've left definitely more room right in here. Definitely more room. We won't have to mess with the AC because it lifts up with a rubber hose as the motor goes up. You won't have to mess with anything other than this little container, the little fill hose, and the alternator should come right out of this hole right here. Big, huge hole. So yeah, and it's actually right down in the corner, so we might have to move the hose over under the alternator, just like so. There we go. Now look at all that room. Wow, look at that. We're going to try to pull it out right there. So also the tensioner, look at this. Tensioner came right to you. Right there, there's the tensioner. So now you can just put your ratchet right there, open it, take the belt off. That's what we're doing right now.
Over here.
Is your road bad?
Okay, at this point, you come over here and disconnect the battery because you got the alternator up. Put something under it to make sure that it doesn't contact. Then come back over here again. Get you a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter. Take the top alternator power bolt off for the power line. Okay, as you can see, we
The kids have
move that away. See? Get that positive off. Then there's a plug right behind it. There's a little button on the right side facing out on the back of the alternator. Anyway, I'm just going to remove it. So now we come over here to the front. It appears to be either a 14 or a 15 right down here. Right there, 14 or 15. As you can see, the alternator's almost completely out of this vehicle. Okay, it's way up there. You can see it right up here. Well, it's kind of hard with this camera. Okay, it is a 15. You want to get a deep socket. I'm using a 1/2 inch. If you've got 3/8, it'd probably be better. Just spin that sucker off. And then there's a stud that goes through there, so you need a 7 millimeter to pull the stud off. Because I'll guarantee you the stud's longer than it is to have that alternator slide off of the stud. So I'll guarantee you, you are going to have to take that stud off. So as you can see, we just spun that nut right off of it and put it up here on your parts tray. Yeah, we're going to get that stud off. Right there. Damn, video's so dark I can't even see in there.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so 7 millimeter for the top stud. Okay, so right here is where the plug is, and there's where you push. You push right there, and it's facing the driver's side of the car, so you can't see it, but just push real hard towards the bottom of the plug, and then pull the plug at the same time. So you want to use your 1/4 inch ratchet with a deep socket 7, and it fits right in there. You got a nice little playing spot to play with. You can take that right out. This one here is not tight. Hopefully yours isn't really tight. Doesn't take any pressure, it just spins out. Okay, we got the stud out, and now we've got to figure out how to get the wiring out. Well, okay, no problem. There's a wire holder right here on the alternator, and you get a tool like this. Go right down there and just twist it. That's all you do. You can bend it back, forward, and it'll pop right out. There we go. That'll free up your wiring from there. See, that way you can move it around the alternator down there. You just move the wiring around and set this over here to the side. And here, you move this whole wiring harness. Just take the plug off of the AC unit until you're done. You can move the whole harness out of your way. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Okay, now with the harness out of the way, I just kind of lifted it up, put all the wiring over here. See? Set it down right over there. Everything's out of your way. Now you're dealing with this AC hard line. I can see it, see? A lot of people will just let it go or whatever, but we're going to try to get this out of here right through that crack without removing the AC line. So we've only got one bolt left. It's on the bottom of the alternator. And I'm going to see what we need to do to get to it. Okay, so we got the alternators out now. So it took a little bit of finessing, but there's that word, finessing. So we kind of stretched the AC line over to the right a little bit, about a finger's length away from the exhaust protection shield. Undid this top mount piece right here, and then pulled it to the side, and the alternator came straight out of here. Hope you enjoyed this video. Now we're going to put one right back down in there, and that's it. Have fun. All right, here it is. Here's the alternator. You can see it right here. Got to be careful with this plug right here, and when you put it back in, make sure you put this down first, and these two arms go underneath that wire. Bring that just right underneath the wire, and you won't hit the radiator because you didn't take the fan out. So you just kind of push it. Watch this top camshaft cable. Push it down in there. See, look at this lip right here. See that lip? You got to get that under that cable, because that's going to be where your entry point is. Then you flip it this way, being careful watching this cable back here. Then you straighten it out, and there's one more thing on the cable on this side. It's a little bracket down here. You got to pull it back. See that little bracket right here? You got to pull that bracket back. Can you reach in and pull it? That's all that's holding this up. Okay, got it? There it goes. Okay, we're in. That was it. And that's how you get the alternator in, fellas. Now, why the hell would he be showing someone else?